Hey everyone, Jonathan Wolf with You Time Coaching, and today's lesson has to do with time management. And so it's something that people constantly are messaging me about to be more effective with, but they might overlook the common problems and the reasons why they exist in the first place. So, first off the bat, people typically fall into two camps with time management and the issues that come up with it. One is in the area of estimating how much time something's going to take, a task, a project, whatever it may be. And it's even more prominent with the ADHD mind or a mind that's stressed out, which is very frequent these days. Um, but with that being said, usually when you have the anxious or stressed or ADHD mind, you will underestimate the amount of time that it takes to do something. And we don't need to go into the why behind that. You can send over any questions you may have, but usually you end up falling in the side of estimating that it's going to take less time than it actually will. And so a lot of people, they can do the task, do the assignment, whatever it is, the activity, and afterwards see, oh, well, that took 3 hours instead of an hour. So they can obviously come to terms with the fact that it took more time, but a lot of people don't make the adjustments afterwards. They just note that it took more time. They're like, oh, well, maybe I should start earlier. But it could be something a little bit more complicated than just starting earlier. Um, and can have to do with focus and sustained attention, and how you actually set up your environment. So you have the estimation of how much time it's going to take. Then you also have how you assign, so you have time, okay? You have your 24 hours in a day, you have the tasks, activities, responsibilities, all those things that you want to get to. How do you assign chunks of time to those things? So it's almost the prioritizing and organizing that time and assigning it to the right things in an effective order. So those are the two major kind of camps of how people may go wrong in how they manage their time, or ineffective with it. So the tool that I'm going to give to you, I use with clients, I use with myself. I actually have a chalkboard upstairs right next to my kitchen, right when you walk in, where I have this grid drawn. And there's different variations of this, but it a lot of people may have seen this in Steven Covey, his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He uses this, and it's in that book, but there's a lot of variations since, and I think just the overarching kind of framework helps a lot of people organize their mind and therefore organize their time and day. So I want you to take out a piece of paper. And when you have that piece of paper out and something to write with, I just want you to draw a grid, 4 boxes. And so obviously, pause the video if you need to, but once you have that grid, I want you to look at the upper left-hand box. And so basically what I'm going to ask you to write in that upper right-hand box, just small enough that you can actually put more content in there, because this is just going to label the box of, kind of designate it for what it is. So that top left-hand box is the items that are important and they're also urgent. Okay, so the two areas that we're going to be looking at are urgency and importance. So with importance, obviously it's something that needs to get done. It's relevant to your life. But with the urgency, it might not necessarily need to get done right away. It might not necessarily even need to be done by you. But the urgency, if there's low urgency, then obviously you can push it off. If there's no urgency, then you might not even need to do it in the first place. But you obviously can see if there's high urgency, that's something that needs to get done pretty quick. So the top left-hand corner is the high urgency, high importance. Now I want you to go to the top right-hand box. And the top right-hand box is going to be less urgency, but still high importance. And then go to the bottom right-hand box, and that's going to be less important and also less urgent. And the bottom left-hand box is going to be less important, but high urgency. Okay, so you got your 4 boxes and them labeled. Top left-hand, high for both urgency and importance. Top right-hand, you have high importance, but less urgency. Bottom right-hand, low urgency, low importance. Bottom left-hand, low on the importance and high on the urgency. Okay, so these are the things that kind of designate those boxes. Now, I want you to label each box one more time, and this is going to be basically the action, the appropriate action for that box. So the top left-hand one, which is high in both importance and urgency, those items, they need to get done. They are timely, so they need to get done relatively quick, or even right now, immediately, ASAP, and they're very important. So these are the items that you absolutely need to get done right away, that need to be done first, highest priority. Okay, so these are the do first items. So you can write do first in the box in the top left-hand corner. Top right-hand corner is still high importance, but less urgency. So these are things that would be put in the delay box. You don't, the urgency isn't too high, so you don't need to necessarily do them right now. You can put them off a little bit. The caveat with that is you can't just push them off. You can't, that would be procrastination. No plan, just pushing them off. If you're going to put something in this box, you absolutely need to set a deadline for yourself. Okay, so once it goes in there, look at your calendar, look at what needs to get done, prioritize what's in the delay box itself, and put dates and times next to each of those items. Okay, so the bottom right-hand corner, that's the low importance, low urgency. Okay, so maybe there isn't a whole lot of relevance. Maybe it's made the list and has stayed on there for a long time, and just sits there, and maybe there's no deadline. So with that being said, these are either you just don't do, and you can potentially delete them. And they may come back up. You can put them on a different list that they don't look at it on a daily or weekly basis, but these are the delete or don't do items. So you can toss those types of items in that bottom right-hand box. The bottom left-hand box is going to be the low importance but high urgency. Okay, so it might not be as important to you specifically, but it still needs to get done. I think we can think of a lot of tasks at work that you don't find personally relevant or that important, but someone's expecting it by a certain time. So that's where you could actually delegate. You can find someone to help you out. You can find someone to collaborate with. You can find someone to actually do it. So you can see how this might come into play at home too, in your personal life, where you can ask for help and delegate. All right, so you have the top left-hand corner are the do first items. Top right-hand corner, you have the delay, and you got to schedule it and set a deadline for it. Bottom right-hand corner is the delete or don't do, and bottom left-hand corner is the delegate to somebody else. Okay, so look at the tasks that you currently have on your to-do list, regardless of how long it is or how much of a fantasy it is to complete, and look at them and look at those tasks and try to assign them appropriately to each of these categories. If you're struggling with it, then maybe the item isn't a task and it's a project, and which is made up of multiple tasks and steps and stages, which is going to require you to break it down a little bit and then assess just that first phase, just that first task, and that first step. So that's the first kind of phase of this, is to look at what you already have on your to-do list and try and see what boxes it fits in. And you might need to do some mental negotiation where you feel that something needs to get done right away, but it might not actually be, it might just be important. It might not be as urgent as you think. So try and look at this based off of urgency and importance and where they kind of rank in both of those categories, and then fit them into these boxes. So give it a shot. See if it helps kind of organize the mind, the day, and your time a little differently. And obviously, this is one part of an overarching system that you can have put in place. So give this a shot. I hope it helps you out. And share any feedback that you have on any of UTime Coaching's social media pages, or shoot over an email to info@utimecoach.com. And yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day. Bye.